Hello, my name's Anthony Vasquez, and I'm new, I guess, here. And I just wanted to share a testimony of an experience that I had at work on Friday. It started. So on Friday, a coworker of mine came in, and he had a hurt back. And I felt compelled to pray for him, but I was afraid of all the circumstances around me, and nervous about the boss coming in or coworkers being offended or something happening. I don't know. I was just scared, and like, what if God wouldn't do anything, or I don't know, just all these different things. And um, so, and that was Friday. So on Saturday, I was driving with my wife to go pick up her son, and I was sharing with her how I really felt like I wanted to pray for him, but I was scared. And she said, you just need to do it. And I was like, okay, I really needed to hear that. I needed to hear an encouragement to do it. And so Sunday morning, I went into work, and I was reading this book. It's by Smith Wigglesworth, and it was talking about the Holy Spirit and being bold. And so as I'm reading this book, it's just like, you need to step out. You need to be strong. You need to not be afraid. You need to be bold. And so I was like, all right, well, here we go. And I looked over at him, and I was like, hey, Jared, like, you back still hurting? He's like, yeah. And I was like, you mind if I pray for you? And he was like, sure. And in my mind, I'm like, really? Okay. So I go over to him, and I put my hand on his shoulder, and I start praying for him. And as I pray for him, all of a sudden he just starts breaking down right as I finish, and he cries. And I go and I sit down, and I just start sharing God's love with him, and I just start breaking down the Bible for him, just really sharing God's love for him. And he was telling me how he's really, like, he's been away from God for a while, and since he was like a teenager, and he really doesn't know how to go back, and it seems like there's something that he needs to do, and he was kind of scared on what to do. And I was just sharing with him, like, it's really not a long distance. Like, it's just a matter of making a decision to say yes, and then showing up and being around God's people, because there's stuff that you have that they need, and there's stuff that they have that you need. And the only way for it all to work is if we're all together. And God calls us a body, and the body, there's hands and there's feet and there's mouths and there's eyes and there's ears. That's what makes up the whole body. Well, that's what makes up the church. The church has hands, and it has feet, and it has eyes, and it has a mouth, and it has ears. And we need to be in those positions, and the only way for us to be in those positions is if we're there. And so we get back to doing our job, and I'm reading, and I'm seeing him kind of like stiff and still hurting, and I'm still reading this book, and it's talking about, like, you need to stand on the fact that the healing can come, and you need to just be bold, and so I was like, all right, and now I'm really out of my comfort zone, and I'm like, are you still hurting? And he's all, oh yeah, it hurts really bad. And I was like, you know what? Can you just stand up? Will you stand up? And he's like, okay. I was like, I'm gonna pray for you again. And he's all right. And so I put my hand on his back, and I started praying, and I was just asking God, like, really heal him, like do something. And as I'm praying for him, I start feeling stuff move in his back, and then all of a sudden my hand gets super hot, and I'm just like, whoa, okay. But I'm praying, and I'm not, like, I'm thinking whoa, but I'm not saying whoa. And so I finish, and I'm like, how do you feel? And he's like, my whole back is burning up. He's like, I feel this heat all over me. And I was like, is it still hurting? And he's like, yeah, it's a little stiff, but it's so warm right now. And I was like, what happened when I prayed for you the first time? And he said, I felt this rush just fall over me from my head to my feet, and I never felt anything like it. and I just felt like this thing, and it just broke me down, and I never felt like that before. And then he started sharing with me that both of his parents had gone to church his whole life, and that he had a 14-year-old brother who had passed away when he was 18, and when he passed away, he stopped going to church, and so today he told me that when he got home, he told his mom everything that had happened, and he said he could tell by the way she was talking that she had this smile, but that she was crying. And then she asked him to give me a big old hug when he got to work in the morning. And so he comes up to me after he tells me this, and he's like, "So get over here, I'm going to give you a hug." And so I give him a hug, and then I just start sharing with him the love of God again. So I hope this encourages you, like, just sometimes, even though it's scary, step out, because you don't know how it's going to affect other people. And just by sharing it, it not only affects you, and not only affects them, but it affects other people that you don't even know can be touched by it. So God bless you.